yes, it is a threat, and yes, it is an opportunity. Most technological changes are both, right? So the point about banking as a service, banking as a platform, is that this sort of paradigm will become more and more necessary for banks to be able to claim to be banks. If you had which said we're a bank, but we don't offer debit cards and you can't withdraw money from ATMs, right? As a consumer bank, that doesn't really work. At least it doesn't in the UK, right? That wouldn't be a viable proposition. You need to be able to offer a debit card at the very least in order to be considered a bank in the UK, a consumer bank at least. And I think that BaaS will rapidly become that, right? Is the ability to easily connect your systems out to other systems and offer up services will very rapidly become something that is necessary for a bank to operate, because there'll be loads of clever fintech players out there who are developing specific apps in the realms of savings or insurance or pensions or other things like that, which will want to connect to a bank via an API and and access them. And that might be, this is more general point about APIs in general, but I think that BaaS definitely falls into this, that you'll need to be offering something like that, because consumers will start going, well, if you're not offering this, then like, why would I use you? In the same way that a consumer wouldn't use something that didn't offer you a debit card. So I think that this is there is an opportunity here for incumbent banks to run in and use their vast resources and the vast trust that consumers have in them to come in and really develop something that is API centric and that really provides services to the outside world. But if they don't do that, then they're going to be left like a town which the railroad passed by, right? They're going to be left not connected to the network, and people will just stop using them and they will gradually wither. And it might take quite a long time because there is a lot of inertia in the industry, but they will wither and die eventually.
I mean, I don't think I could have put it better the way Jason put it. It really is a double-edged sword, and it will be a case of, if the incumbents choose to adopt and incorporate and collaborate, then I think it could be a real opportunity. Otherwise, I love this highway analogy because it's such a good one. If there is too much inertia internally and they can't align and get their ducks in a row, then unfortunately they will be left in the wake of the BaaS players you have around this table, not only, but most of the BaaS space.
I'm in agreement. I think there's another very, very important fact, though, which has, I think, been highlighted perhaps as well during the pandemic, and that is that our industry, the financial services industry, is totally inefficient. We create around $15 trillion a year of financial friction costs, and that's the delays that we put on all of our customers in relation to payments being settled, money being available, access to funds, unable to access operators to discuss mortgages and loans through weekends and all the rest of it. And that has to change, because as a result of the pandemic, everybody has gone through a digital immersion and understands how quickly things can now work, because we all do video conference and video calls, exactly the same way as we're on this conference. And we're getting used to immediacy, which doesn't exist. Now, the clever organizations are going to be using BaaS services to develop, as I was saying earlier, really customer-centric services that get rid of that friction and deliver value. Because, if you go online and you went on to, say, do a Google or a Bing search today, and it came back and said, look, it's great, but you're going to have to wait 3 days for a result, you'd be particularly unhappy. And that's what happens often with international payments, as an example.